My understanding is that, Tuned is available to individuals out there, but employers can actually offer this benefit. So one stat that I recently saw that surprised me how big it was, and you can tell me if I'm correct or not, was about 25% of working Americans actually have some form of hearing loss out there. And if I do the math correctly, I think that's about 50 million Americans. So that's a lot of people, right?
That's a lot of people. So the actual data that we have is that there's about 50 million people in the US with hearing issues. Again, it doesn't mean, if anybody takes anything out of this conversation, what I want you to remember is hearing equals old people, equals hearing aids, is nothing could be farther from the truth. Hearing, out of the 50 million people with hearing issues, about 60% are between the ages of 18 and 65, so they're working age. The vast majority of them don't have severe hearing loss. They have mild hearing loss, moderate hearing loss like me. And I'll give you an example.
Sure.
For me, as somebody with moderate hearing loss, it takes a little bit more of cognitive effort to differentiate between the words bad and dad.
Yes.
Now imagine me doing that for 8, 9, 10 hours a day on Zoom calls every day. This is the reality. Now think about how many employees, how many people within the American workforce, this is their reality. This is what a workday looks like. This has become a work tool. We can't, and what's happened over the past is that because of this kind of oversized, super concentration on severe hearing loss and hearing aids, that's the benefit that employers, if they offer it, and only about 40% of employers even offer anything that has to do with hearing specifically. It focuses on discounted hearing aids. So if you have severe hearing loss, we'll give you typically it's around $1,500, maybe $1,800 discount. The rest comes out of the employee's pocket. It's not insured. Most employees don't have severe hearing loss. They have mild to moderate. They might have, like me, tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears, APD, auditory processing disorder. Auditory processing disorder is fascinating. It is somebody who would go in and do the screening or go to a clinic and do the screening, and their audiogram, the results of their audiogram would come completely normal, but their brain still has problem identifying sounds correctly. With children, by the way, that leads to kids being misdiagnosed with ADHD and learning disabilities.
No kidding, really?
1.4 million kids in this country are misdiagnosed with ADHD and learning disabilities because they've never been screened for their hearing.
No kidding.
Yeah. So that's incredible. So we're going to employers and we're saying, listen, OTC has allowed us, because the average cost of an OTC device, there are great companies out there like Lexi, Nuheara, SonicCloud, amazing companies, is around $500. The average price of a hearing aid is $6,000.
Yeah.
A 90% reduction in price. So we're able to come to an employer and say, we look at hearing care comprehensively. We're not just in the business of selling discounted hearing aids. If one of your employees needs a hearing aid, sure, we'll do that. But most of your employees probably will not, but they might have mild to moderate. And we have OTC solutions which are in the hundreds of dollars, not in the thousands.
Yeah. So, really intriguing there, right? So, bring it a little more closer to home. So my father is 76. For many years, he was in denial that he had hearing loss. And then he did what many people out there do, right? He went to Costco. He's on Medicare. Medicare does not cover hearing aids. So he spent about $6,000 on hearing aids. So you're saying basically that with the over-the-counter hearing aids, that there are more affordable options out there for people with all forms of hearing loss. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And the vast majority of people, as I said, have the type of hearing loss that you and I have. It's mild to moderate. We're not a good fit for a hearing aid.
Right.
But there are products out there from $150 all the way up to about $1,000, all of which we cover as part of our program, which it's exactly like reading glasses. If I take off my glasses right now, I can still see you and I can probably read what's on the screen.
Yep.
But this is a quality of life improvement for me. Why should you do this cognitive effort? It's exhausting to do, to be on this extra level of concentration when you're talking to people. If you have Zoom with multiple people, if it's a little noisy, if somebody has an accent, it makes it sometimes very, very difficult. Listening in noisy environments. It's just today it's an easy solution which can, and this is kind of I know that employers are being bombarded with so many different options for their employees, and everything, obviously everything is, it's healthcare and many things are
Absolutely. Yep.
important. Hearing, if you think about it, your ability to hear is your ability to communicate. If we turn off the video right now
Right.
on this call, you and I can continue having this conversation, right?
That's right. Yep.
If I mute, we're done. I can
Very
just
true.
wave at you. And once you understand that hearing is communication, and think about every job description you've ever seen, great communication skills, right?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah. Number one. Number two.
the ability to hear is foundational to that. And
Hmm.
employers need to pick up the slack on this, understand that there has been a change in the market. OTC has come in. There's new technology that allows us to do telehealth and teleaudiology. 60% of counties in the US do not have any audiology clinic at all.
Wow. That's shocking.
At all.
Huh.
I live in New York City. In the
Yeah.
Bronx, there are 1.7 million people. There are 11 audiologists in the Bronx. That's one audiologist per 107,000 people.
Incredible. Yeah. They
So,
definitely need more.
especially, by the way, in rural areas where
Sure.
obviously there's always less services. So for us, teleaudiology is not just a cool thing to have. It is an essential part of the offering to be able to make hearing care accessible to everyone.
Absolutely. So, Danny, right? So, for employers out there with your offering, is it something that you directly offer to employers, or is it
Yes.
something that perhaps they may get through their health insurance company? So, walk me through that.
We work both through TPAs and with employers directly.
Okay.
We're finding a lot of interest, especially because we can do PMPM models, PEPM models, pay as you go models.
Hmm.
We're very flexible, and our pricing is very surprising to people. Again, because of OTC, because of new technology, we
Hmm.
are able to offer comprehensive hearing care at an incredibly, I would say, surprising price. It costs a lot less than you think.
Interesting. So, Danny, right? Let's say there's an employer out there and they want to learn more about Tuned. Where can they go to learn more? Or maybe they want to connect with you directly, right?
First of all, always happy to connect directly. My email is Danny, DANNY, at tunecare.com. And you're more than welcome to go to www.tunecare.com. We have an employer page which really details everything in our offer. There's a like a sign up that you can go in and reach out to us, and we'd be happy to have a conversation, see how we can get your employees to hear better. Again, think about it. You offer your employees dental and vision. They need to hear. It's very basic.
Awesome. Well, Danny, really appreciate you coming on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, John. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. And for our viewers out there, we want to hear from you guys. If you're an employer, is adding a hearing aid benefit or perhaps doing a virtual hearing exam something that you imagine you can provide to your workforce in the future? And if so, what do you think that would look like? Comment below.